Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to listen to my key takeaways from the 13th FICCI Higher Education Summit, which I attended in Delhi earlier this month. I'd like to begin on a positive note. I was pleasantly surprised to see that the discourse around Indian higher education has changed significantly in recent months. There is now widespread recognition and acknowledgement amongst all the key stakeholders that the Indian higher education system is in urgent need of a major overhaul to make it relevant for the 21st century. There's also a growing awareness that the main challenges it faces are the lack of accessibility, affordability, and employability, and that technology delivered in the form of online education is the solution to all these problems. The reason being is it would enable quality education to reach the masses, both in urban and rural areas, allowing them to get the opportunities they deserve. Thus, it comes as no surprise that the central theme of this summit was higher education in the age of digital disruption, and the summit was fittingly titled Leapfrogging to Education 4.0, Student at the Core. So what is Education 4.0? Education 4.0 is a term coined by EY, which essentially describes the fourth stage in the evolution of the Indian higher education system. First came Education 1.0, which dates back to ancient times and was limited to a few privileged people. Then came Education 2.0, which witnessed the invention of the printing press, allowing the masses to get access to basic education. This was followed by Education 3.0, where the emergence of the internet and IT changed the mode of delivery, providing a technology platform to learn. And finally comes the digital revolution in the last decade, which has led to Education 4.0, shaped by social media, mobile, analytics, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and robotics. Education 4.0 transforms the university experience and puts the learner at the center of the ecosystem. University 4.0 is an integral part of this new phase and involves a reformation of the university as a system, its mission, its functions, and organizational forms. The transformation will require systemic changes with a dynamic vision to create a model that will produce future-ready citizens of tomorrow. University 4.0 will use technology to provide best practices in student-centered bespoke learning, equip graduates with employability skills, and aspire for research excellence, thus improving outcomes for all stakeholders. This new education movement, powered by technology, opens up exciting opportunities for foreign universities and business schools keen to engage with India. Now I'm just going to take a few minutes to delve deeper into the main concepts and ideas discussed during the seminars at the summit. The first is Student at the Core Education 4.0, which calls for a radical shift in the mindset of policymakers and makes it extremely important to hear the student's voice during any kind of policy formulation. The aim is to replace the entrenched system with a student-centric model where they participate in shaping their curriculum to ensure that it helps them get to where they need to go. In this scenario, the role of policymakers and regulators should predominantly be on creating an ecosystem that allows quality higher education institutions to have autonomy along with accountability. This will inevitably lead to excellence in academics and governance in the universities. The responsibility of the regulators should be to facilitate and augment the quality of the Indian higher education ecosystem. To achieve this, regulators need to think ahead of the curve by fostering flexibility and agility with a transnational outlook. Regulators also need to build capability for faculty, invest in the digital paradigm, and act as a bridge between university and industry and students. Currently, the situation is less than ideal. Regulators have become more like strangulators, and the complex regulatory framework is causing confusion in everyone's minds. This needs to be addressed immediately. In addition, teachers need to be empowered so that they don't just merely impart education, but in fact become facilitators and mentors who focus on instilling a passion for learning in their students from an early age and shape them into being good citizens who have a positive impact on society. That's quite an important aspect, shaping them into being good citizens who have a positive impact on society. Thus, there needs to be investment in training teachers to deliver this. Teachers have to change with the changing times and have to be adequately equipped to carry out this change. They have to focus on imparting 21st century skills to their students, these being creativity, critical thinking, curiosity, literacy, numerosity, problem solving, collaboration, and communication. These will enable the desired shift from lecturer to facilitator, from facts to knowledge, from memorization to critical thinking, from hierarchy to equal discussion and debate. People are finally starting to understand the value of industry interactions and the importance of including this aspect into the curriculum. There is a growing realization that the university has to get integrated with industry and society and cannot exist in a silo. With this in mind, more priority needs to be given to hands-on learning experience, to things such as assignment-based, project-based, and internship-based work. Industry and academia should join forces to work together on this and increase the employability quotient of our graduates. Technology, of course, can be used to achieve this. Faculty themselves should be made industry-centric so that they can get a flavor of what industry does and what industry wants. There is also a role for alumni in strengthening these industry-academia linkages. Online learning is also rapidly gaining in popularity. Educators are making the case for running 40% of the course online with 60% teacher interaction because that is very important as well. In essence, the rate of change inside the institute needs to be higher than the rate of change outside the institute. I'm also going to briefly touch upon an additional topic that was discussed, which I think is very important, which is diversity and social inclusion. So for the Indian higher education, it is actually crucial that social inclusion needs to be integrated into the fabric of the institution to help marginalized people become part of the society. Efforts to bring diversity in the HEIs on the base of race, ethnicity, caste, religion, gender, language, and class need to be done in the right way through policies and practical efforts. Special attention needs to be paid to rural and dispersed communities, indigenous communities, and hitherto excluded populations. At the same time, you need to get affluent people to understand why social inclusion is so important and show them how it will reap dividends and create a win-win scenario for everyone. Therefore, including civic engagement into the university program is of utmost importance. As part of this, we need to include the social and cultural history of these indigenous communities into the main history discourse and allow students to experience their way of life. This immersive experience will enable students to really understand and empathize with their problems and come up with creative solutions to address these. Education 4.0 thus has to include inclusiveness at its core. At every stage, technology and social outreach need to be embedded in the curriculum. And to add to that, the three main aims of the higher education institution should be engaged teaching, engaged research, and engaged service. So to conclude, it appears that the new focus of the Indian higher education system is what I call holistic education, where universities collaborate with industry and society, leveraging technology to produce better human beings who have a positive impact on the wider community around them. This is Education 4.0, and UK higher education providers are ideally placed to work with Indian higher education institutions to deliver this in a mutually beneficial way. With that, I come to the end of my sort of description of the summit. I hope you found this interesting and useful in developing your India engagement. The UK IBC is here to help you with your India plans, so don't hesitate to contact us should you need any assistance in this sphere. Thank you again for listening. I hope you found it interesting.